Hello, it's nice to see you all again. In my last bullet journal video, I was showing you the new setup for a brand new journal, so it only seems natural to show you the whole flip through of my old one. This is the journal that I used from November 2019 until August 2020. Starting off the journal, I have a couple pages for setup purposes, the first being a watercolored ownership page. Then there's a 4-page index that I made and didn't end up using all of it, even though in old journals I've always run out of space in my indexes. Then there's a condensed version of my yearly calendar because we're starting this journal in November, a reading list, and a package tracker. Of course, I also included my Leonardo DiCaprio list that I've been working towards for actual years now. I also added an Asa Butterfield list and an Anthony Boyle list with all of their films and media for me to see. Like my actor lists, I tried something new for movies I wanted to rewatch and movies that I wanted to see in theaters. And of course there's my TV tracker that just makes watching TV seem productive, which I'm not entirely sure is a good thing. And then we start with the first month, November. The intro was beautiful and my gratitude log, while simple, had such a nice pop of color. Then there was my note of the day, which I'm very proud of, and my sleep log, which I'm a little bit less proud of. The mood tracker, however, is one of my favorites I think I've ever done. My calendar also turned out really nice. I really like the messy leaves and sparkles look to it. Now, I've never quite found a homework calendar that worked for me, so I'm not too fond of this page, but it did the trick, as did my brain dump, which I wasn't a fan of this month either. Then there were my weekly pages. This month I tried to do something different for every double page spread, and for the most part I liked it. It definitely gave me a chance to test out a bunch of things all at once so I could determine what I liked best moving forwards. And then there's December. So the theme I tried to go with for December 2019 was a sort of cold, mountainous with a side of vintage electricity. I love how the intro page turned out, and I don't hate my gratitude either. My note of the day and sleep log were also quite nice because I liked the combined design through the bottom of the page of all the mountains. My mood tracker might actually be one of my favorites, but that's where it starts going downhill. The homework calendar was just absolutely so messy, and my brain dump was less of a brain dump and more than a random list. My calendar was also a bit of a hot mess. It looked messy, and most of the weeklies were also displeasing to my eye. I'm not saying any of this looks explicitly bad, it just wasn't what I was looking for, and I felt like I kind of rushed it, and it just did not turn out the way I was hoping it would. I think the only weekly pages that I liked were the ones with the mountains on top, and I also liked the headers with the 4 different colors on top. The last page I did for 2019 was a list of everything I wanted to complete before 2020. And then 2020 hit, the roaring 20s, and that was a theme that I was trying to go for. Then there was my yearly calendar. The brown paper on the top looked quite good, but the rest of it could have been spruced up a bit more. I do remember that I was quite behind on my setup this month, and I was just kind of rushing it to get through and actually get January into my journal. I decided that I actually really liked having the list of things I wanted to complete before the end of the month. And I'm not a huge fan of New Year's resolutions, so I compromised. Then, of course, I had to make my 2020 bookshelf and a new package tracker. As for January, I did say that I was running pretty behind on the setup, so I continued over with the vintage Roaring 20s theme, but in a very toned down, relaxed sort of way. I filled out a new homework log, seeing as I was just starting with my next semester of college, and then I just jumped straight into a simple weekly spread that I could easily keep up with. Then February came along, and I was super excited to do a Disney-themed month. I love the castle intro page, and I really like the gratitude log. It was really pretty. My Sleeping Beauty sleep log and Seven Dwarves mood tracker were ingenious in my opinion. I loved the Princess and the Frog calendar I made, but these pages were so complicated that it was taking me really long to get through them, and I ended up never actually finishing the month of February. But I did have some of the pages sketched out. My homework calendar was supposed to be Cinderella, then Mulan, Aladdin, and Anastasia themed. My brain dump was supposed to be Alice falling down the rabbit hole. The first couple days of the month were going to have a Peter Pan theme. The next double page spread of weeklies was going to be Brave, then Tangled, Frozen, The Little Mermaid, and the last half page was going to be Zootopia. Seeing as February was such a huge flop because of time I didn't have, I decided to take it back a step. So I just went in with a bunch of colors and called it confetti. My gratitude and sleep logs were very simple. My calendar was absolutely packed with everything I had to go on in school. And of course it all got cancelled 2 weeks in because of COVID. The weeklies were very simple and designed for a busy schedule to keep up. Once we got into quarantine, I actually added a last page to this month. Everything I wanted to do but never had the time for because life got in the way. And then it was April. We were supposed to go back to school and then back to rehearsals and putting on a show and homework and assignments and classes. So I utilized the same structure I used for March, only with a green earthy colored theme. We all know that we didn't actually end up going back to school, so my built for a busy month April setup wasn't actually put to much use. I did, however, add a habit tracker at the end, which was an afterthought. And of course, I also added another to-do list, which was basically a glorified brain dump. The last page I added for the month was a Barbie movie list because me and one of my best friends decided we wanted to get together and binge watch all of the Barbie movies. For May, I decided to start sprucing up my bullet journal again, so I did a pink and turquoise sort of suburban style theme. I quite like the simple yet more fun way I did this month. I don't really know what changed exactly, but you can see how having relaxing time to myself can actually improve my work. I decided that since not much was happening each day, I would relax on the weeklies, and I found a system that I really loved. Splitting each page into 4 actually saved a lot of time and space, which was really nice. Now, about midway through May of quarantine, I was getting really into the bullet journaling community on YouTube. So for June, I decided that I was going to try and bullet journal in that sort of paper crafty style. The blue and the paper and the washi tape all together made for a really pretty look that I'm really proud of. I'm not a huge fan of the calendar that month. It was quite small because I tried to fit in my brain dump next to it. It didn't work out super great. It looked good. I didn't really like how it functioned though. I also did the 4 days per page weeklies, and I spruced it up a bit more this time to fit with the theme of the month, and I think they turned out really nice. Since it worked so well for June, I decided to try the same approach with July, and while pretty, it didn't quite turn out how I imagined it. I also tried to extend my 4 days per page weeklies to 2 days per page weeklies again, except horizontally instead of vertically, and it looked pretty good. And finally, for the last month of this journal, we have August. Again, this is a month I am not too proud of. Because the last month didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to, I decided to tone it back again. But I had also just gotten some stamps, washi tape, and stickers in the mail, so I was really excited to experiment with them. While I love the sticker of the van, August's intro page kinda sucked, and I wasn't a huge fan of the gratitude, sleep, or habit trackers either. But I actually quite like the calendar, and the weeklies are some that I'm really proud of. I started to put a photo from my life on each double page spread, and it was really nice having that more personal touch in there. And that brings us to the end of this journal. 10 months. That was 10 months of journaling. This journal brought me through a lot. It helped me learn the transition from busy life to actually having time on my hands. And it definitely taught me what I could realistically manage in a journal setup. So you see, there are so many ways of bullet journaling, and sometimes taking a step back might be exactly what you need to keep going, and keep going better in more than just the bullet journal aspect of your life. Keep that in mind. Until next time, XO Annabeth.